Hey everyone, Sister Ludlow here. I thought I would just create a quick screencast to go over the instructions for this week. So we'll start here with the week 3 process book. So this week we're wrapping up project 1, which is the type project that you were working on creating the abstract concepts from the 2 typefaces that we began last week. So let's scroll down here. So this week you're going to be finishing this project, making a mock-up, and creating a Behance post. So let's walk through how to do that. So first you're going to do some variations. So last week we left off, you should have had one sans serif and one serif composition, and this week you're going to be doing variations. So these are all on the computer at this point. These should all be done in Illustrator, no more hand sketching. But you're going to create 12 for each of the 2 fonts. Remember, as I mentioned last week, to read over in the project brief the specifications. There's a little bit of a long list there of things that you want to make sure this includes. Like, for instance, you can only use those 2 fonts. This shouldn't be pictorial. It should be completely abstract. You don't want them to spell anything. They have regulations about like how many white characters, how many black characters, how the letters interact, how many letters. So just make sure that you meet and check all those boxes. And again, that's in the project brief file. So you can do the variations here. There is, that's what it'll look like. They're all there. This video is kind of nice. It just shows you how to if you're designing in Illustrator, then save the files and drop them into this InDesign document. So nice little tutorial there. And then you will drop your final finished compositions on this page, step 5 from this week. So these are just the straight JPEGs, the finals. That's what it will look like when they're in place. And then it wants you to identify the typographic anatomy. So don't skip this step. Make sure you point out, again, the information for this will be in the brief, but there's specific elements of the type that it wants you to label on this page. Now we come to the mock-up. So in graphic design, when you're in school, oftentimes as students you don't have the resources to obviously actually produce something. We're not printing and framing this. We don't actually make business cards for real business, etc., etc. We just mock things up. So a mock-up is just a way of making your work look like it has been produced, and it makes it into a really professional looking format that you would use on something like a Behance profile, which we'll talk about in a minute. So here it just talks about, like, traditionally if you were physically in school and you were creating a physical mock-up, you would actually print the files, mount them on foam core, trim them, and all that. But obviously this is an online class, so we get to do the easier way, where we will not actually be printing, but we will do a digital mock-up. So this is what it'll look like. It's this photo. FPO stands for placement only, so it's just showing these are where you're going to put your compositions. So someone has already mentioned to me that the file, the Photoshop mockup file, was not working for them. I'm going to put a new file in this announcement post with a screencast, so try that file if the original one doesn't work for you. And that one should be okay. So you are going to take your Illustrator files and drop them in here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is what it'll look like in Photoshop. These ones have already been dropped in, but when you open the file, you'll come over here to the right, to the Layers panel, and there'll be these 2 that say double-click icons. So one for the right image and one for the left image. So you just double-click on the little icon, and it's going to open it in Illustrator now. So now that this is in Illustrator, it's editable. So you'll just drop your final design in here, hit save on this file, and it will update it in Photoshop. So it's quick and easy. You just need to worry about these, and then the background is already in place. And then you will just save this file, and this is your mockup file. So you will drop that into the process book. But the real purpose of this mockup file is for your Behance post. So for every project in this class, you will make a Behance post about it at the end when it's all finished. So for those of you that have never used Behance or new to it, Behance is a portfolio website for creative professionals. So it is a professional website. If you ever go to apply to a job in the future, it's a great way to be able to just pull it up and show your employer, here's my portfolio, here's all the things, it's all organized, it's very visual, it's all clean and neat. So it is a professional platform, so think of it that way, that you want to be professional in how you describe your projects, the wording, the presentation. Just make sure it looks really nice and crisp and clean. And as you go forward into your career field, I would keep this updated with your projects as you work on them. So we're just going to take a look at an example here, my friend Andrew. So you can list information about yourself, what you do, where you work. You can see that people have viewed your post, but let's just take a look at what an actual post looks like. So if you come over here and click on this project, so this project is for Swoon, which is a soda brand. So you can see that there are words here, like descriptions combined with images. You can put some videos in there, any kind of, it's very multimedia. So anything you want, and you completely design this page with text, image, video, however you want to make it. So this page in and of itself is a piece of design. So you want to make sure it looks neat, looks presentable, shows all the aspects of your work. So back over here to our process book, this lays out exactly how for the class they want your post to look. So you need a title. The first photo on the page should be your digital mock-up, that one we just looked at in Photoshop. And then you should have a caption, an introduction to the project. So if someone's viewing this for the first time, they need some context. What is this? Why are you doing it? Again, make sure your language is professional and grammatically correct, all those important things. And then after the introduction, they want you to actually put a JPEG of the composition 1 and 2. So these are not mock-ups, these are just the straight posters. So you should have 3 images, caption, a little intro, and a title. And that's the anatomy of what your Behance post will look like. There it is again. And so that is it for project 1. So if you've checked all those boxes, you're done with the first project. And the rest of the process book is just these other little exercises. Every week you'll have a font that you're going to practice drawing a letter from. So you'll print out this page, draw the letter, scan it back in, like so. And you'll have a little type journal activity. So this one's kind of fun. It's type on clothing. So there's 8 pictures of different type on clothing. There's an example of how to do that. And then the ponder module at the end. And make sure, last week some of the ponder modules were a little short. I think they even put a line in that says like, oh, it should come to this line. Like you should write enough to fill to this point on the page. So just make sure you're answering everything pretty thoroughly, putting some thought into this. There's another little video about how to do that. And that is week 3 in the process book. As always, if you have any questions, just feel free to comment on this announcement or send me an email. But I think that is it. Should be good to go. Good luck.